So we're going to talk about how trying to be liked by everyone and trying to impress everyone you meet ironically ends up making you a lot less likable and pushes people away. And really just kind of sounds dramatic, but just like eats away at your soul and like who you are. We're also going to talk about whether it's even possible to like stop trying to impress people, because I watch a lot of videos about this and they're all titled, you need to stop trying to impress people, but no one really talks about what that looks like, or whether or acknowledges that it's just like, most people don't have a say in it. For most people, this is something that we've learned to do over such a long period of time that it's impossible to stop consciously doing it unless we really think deeply about it. So a bit of background about me. I feel like all throughout my teenage years, I didn't really know who I was. I didn't really have my own identity, because it was entirely shaped by what my friends liked or disliked. The topics I would talk about, the people I'd spend time around. I'd almost run it all through my head. I kind of filter everything through this kind of lens of, what are my friends gonna think? Are they gonna find this funny? If I make fun of this person, will they laugh? If I talk about this particular thing, are they gonna respect me more? And if I talk about this thing, are they going to mock me? Are they gonna ridicule me? So it's everything I did, everything I was comfortable talking about, I only really had them in the back of my mind. See, my friend group at the time, it was very, very toxic. It was very, I went to an all boys school, so it was a very competitive friend group. Everyone constantly just putting each other down, competing for status. If you got made fun of, you're expected to bite back even harder. You had to say something even worse to them. It was very a bit like the animal kingdom, everyone competing to be on top of the group, top of the hierarchy. And I never really fit into that kind of group dynamic that well. I was never good at thinking on my feet, being witty, thinking of what to say next after someone insulted me. So it felt like I was always getting put in my place. And more often than not, just tolerating bad behavior, people fucking treating me very badly. And me over time just kind of not really doing anything about that, just tolerating disrespect. And on the other side, there'd be people who, they were the wittiest. People would always laugh at their jokes. They'd always know the right thing to say. And they were never getting made fun of, because people kind of knew where they were in the hierarchy. All this sounds kind of cringe, but this is true. This is just fucking social psychology, especially in guys. We're constantly competing for status in ways that you wouldn't even be able to understand. But yeah, I ended up in this kind of dynamic where everything I said, I was just constantly thinking how is this going to affect my social status? And it kind of led to me hiding the person that I really was. I'd be at home with a completely different set of interests to other people. Things that my friend group didn't even know about, but I kind of hid, because I kind of brought things into this group, you accidentally let parts of your personality out. I remember I was really into basketball, and no one's into basketball, at least where I went to school. And I started trying to talk about basketball one time, and people kind of just fucking made fun of me. It all sounds kind of childish, but yeah, like, I remember it just really fucking got to me at the time. Like, I was trying to, like, you know when you're like very passionate about something and you want to share that with people and you just get fucking mocked, like you just get fucking torn down. And I learned not to share like who I really am. Like, I learned not to fucking like bring my interests into the group. And kind of like from there, I was just trying to think about, okay, what are they interested in? What do they want to talk about? And it leads to you like doing things that you're just acting in ways that aren't really natural to you. Like, I like to believe I'm a good person, but being in that kind of dynamic, I did some terrible things. Like, I didn't feel like I was at the top of the hierarchy, probably like almost at the bottom, but the fact is, I always felt like there were some people lower than me in the hierarchy, and I just kind of take out my anger on them, or use them as like an easy target to boost my own social status. If I can get a laugh out of the group by bullying this person or making fun of them, then 9 times out of 10 I would do it. It just brings out the ugly side of you. So in terms of how, okay, so there's a realization that most people don't really get about like where this like need to impress other people comes from. So it doesn't come from like we're just shallow, like we are just seeking social status. Like on some level we are, but where it really comes from is it comes from not feeling safe in our environment. It comes from learning, usually at a very early age, that seeking approval from other people is the only way to not experience pain or ridicule. And this is exactly what happened to me. Like, I learned in this friend group that unless I keep the group on my side, do things to win their approval. And I feel like this is the same for all of the guys in the group, apart from the ones maybe at the very top. If they like show any kind of vulnerability, or they show some aspect of themselves that is incompatible with like the group, then they're just going to get mocked. They're going to get like made to feel some kind of emotional pain, humiliated, rejected. And something that I left out was like, at this point I knew what it was like to be alone, because I went through a time in school very early on where I had no friends, where I was kind of bouncing from group to group, but none of them really wanted me. So I'd known the pain of rejection up to that point. I knew how bad it felt, and I thought it was all my fault at that age, even though it wasn't. And I never wanted to go back to that. So I was so afraid of rejection that I kind of tolerated bad behavior. It didn't come from this need to impress others, come from like a shallow place. It just came from like wanting to be, sounds cliche, but just fucking accepted for me. Whenever we feel the need to impress someone, it's simply because we don't feel safe around them. And when you don't feel safe, that's when you act out of alignment with like who you really are. So I've always said, I think who I really am, like my true personality, is who I am when I'm around my like true closest friends. Like, I've got good people in my life who I laugh with. I feel like I can tell them anything. I don't fear judgment from them because we just understand each other. When I'm around them, when I'm with my true friends, I can be quite an introverted guy usually, but I'm loud around them. I'm bold. I express myself. I have so much fun. I make jokes that I don't usually make around other people. But it's the complete opposite when I don't feel safe. When I don't feel safe, I literally retreat further into my brain. I weigh up everything that I'm about to say. Like, is this going to make me look stupid if I say this? I second guess myself. There's also the fact that, you know, when your body is in survival mode and your like nervous system is all fired up, you know, you have like that anxious tension inside your body. It's literally harder to like think clearly because your brain is like diverting all of like the thinking part of your brain, like the part of your brain responsible for creativity and humor, things like that, that would help you in a conversation. It's diverting all of that away from those parts of your brain to the part responsible for just keeping you alive. Like when you're really anxious and you don't feel safe, you literally come across as like less socially intelligent, which is why it's like often really hard to like think of something like the right thing to say when someone insults you, or I don't know, you're really angry and you think, oh, I should have said that later. This is where it comes from. So in terms of how this makes you less likable, it's like you're doing all of these things that if you were around people who you truly felt safe and comfortable with, you just wouldn't do. Like you wouldn't feel like you have to do that. You wouldn't feel like you have to put other people down or try extra hard to think of something funny to say because you feel safe. And ironically, that's when conversation just flows naturally and easily. You don't have to think too hard about what to say next. You're naturally very funny and witty. Things just get easier. So I hope all this is making sense. Now I just want to talk about how I've been learning to kind of just healing from this like need for approval that I still have it within me because it was just learned at such a young age and over so many years of school. And those patterns have kind of continued like into my adult life. So if you think about it in terms of we're only trying to impress people when we don't feel safe for whatever reason. Like I have situations now like at work around authority figures that for some reason trigger these like old emotional wounds that I have, or certain people that I meet who kind of like remind me of people from the past and trigger those same feelings. You know, people who might have like humiliated me. And that is normal, don't get me wrong. Like it's normal to kind of have those feelings, but it's also like, important to recognize when you're kind of reacting to old fear rather than what's going on in front of you. So for me, the solution lies in realizing it sounds like I'm saying something like which should be obvious, but your body learns in a very specific way, or your nervous system learns in a very specific way. And it's just, for me, it's like letting people see like less than perfect sides of me. Like I'm a deeply flawed human and everyone is. I'm not perfect. I'm not like really, really charming, and I'm not like a super charismatic person. But I'm comfortable, or at least I'm more comfortable showing people those like imperfect sides of me. Because it's just who I am, you know. And it's the illusion of like needing to be perfect or come across as perfect that makes us like more tense, like more on edge. Like it's a response to wanting to stay on everyone's good side. So for me, that comes out in like avoiding conflict or like holding things back, like talking myself out of saying things. So what I've been trying to practice is specifically things like not over explaining myself. Like oftentimes I just go with the group consensus. Like if the group thinks this way and I think something different, what's the point in even trying to say that? But it's kind of getting my voice out there, like speaking up in situations where I wouldn't usually. If I disagree with someone, just telling them in a respectful way. I disagree. You're entitled to your opinion, but that's fine. And another thing to add to that is like, oftentimes we kind of, especially when it comes to saying sorry, or if we've made a mistake, fuck that. Like sometimes when other people make mistakes, we kind of feel the need to just apologize all the time. Like sometimes we just apologize for existing, or when other people have made a mistake, and we apologize like when they're the one in the wrong. It's just something which comes out. Like for me, it's all people pleasing. It's trying to keep people on my side. So it's not apologizing so much and not over explaining myself. Like if someone asks me to do something, instead of saying sorry, just say, well, I can't at the moment, or even sorry, I can't at the moment. And then not feeling like I need to over explain, give loads of excuses. If someone invites me out and I'm really not feeling like it, I'll say sorry, not tonight. I'm not going to say sorry I'm not feeling well, because that's just a fucking lie. But I'm also entitled to not always have to go out all the time when I'm not feeling up to it. And I guess just the other way, and this is unique to me, is, like I said, I'm an introvert. And oftentimes when I'm in that frame of mind where I'm trying to impress people, I don't want them to see that, because I feel like introvert has connotations of like boring, or I feel like we're a bit misunderstood. So I try and feel like I need to compensate by talking way more than I usually would. But now I'm growing to be more comfortable with like silence and not talking all the time. Because silence in itself is not awkward, you know. We just project the awkwardness onto it. It's not awkward if like, what am I trying to say? It's only awkward if you make it awkward. Like silence in itself is neutral. So it's not feeling like I need to constantly be talking around other people just to kind of prove that I am a certain type of person, because that's not who I am. Like I'm not the kind of person who needs to constantly be talking and just yapping. And maybe this is the same for you, and maybe your kind of people-pleasing behavior manifests in different ways, but it's about identifying those patterns and not feeling like they need to compensate and overcorrect, like that anxious part of our brain is telling us to do. And also, observing that nothing bad happens when we do show that less than perfect side of ourselves to the world. Like, I might have been in danger in school, but nowadays I'm not. Nowadays I'm fine and I can handle it. I can handle people disliking me. Yeah, I hope this helped. Take care.